Welcome to the No Name Brand Podcast. My name is Sashka Hanarappal, actress, singer, dancer, turned brand marketing, sales, and advertising strategist who brands your soul. And each week, I bring you an inspiring person or message to help you discover your undergod, turn up your leadership notches, challenge the status quo, because you're fast and furious with a powerful message to share with the world. Thank you for taking time out with me today, and without further ado, let's get our creative and wisdom juices flowing. It's that time again, folks. Time to hear an inspiring message from an inspiring person from whom we can learn from and invite into our Learn Cave. This week, I have the pleasure of getting to know and talk to the lovely Laura Jane McKeown, a soul guidance mentor and energy healer who supports women in awakening through their deep transformational journeys. Now, I personally love the word transformational. The first time I heard it was watching a stage performance by Lisa Nichols at the A-Fest, where she explained that she wasn't just any coach, but a transformational coach. And I remember thinking, holy moly, the woman can transform people from like movies Transformers. And this is when I learned that it wasn't the outside that was transformed, but the inside out. And today we're going to find out more about transformational journeys with the lovely Laura Jane McKeown. Hello, Laura. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's lovely having you here too, and learning all about transformation and journeys and your journey and being inspired by you. You've got an amazing story, and I can't wait to share with everyone. So we're going to dive right in. So I know that we never just go through one pivotal moment in our lives. We have many, even if we choose not to see them at times. So maybe you can just share with us, if you can, the most prevalent turning point in your life that transformed your own journey, leading you here to us today.
Yes, of course. And you are right. Yeah, there are many pivotal moments. But I think the massive wake-up call for me, which I, like to call now as my blessing in disguise, was, I was really lost growing up and had really low self-esteem, was constantly searching for confidence and love outside of myself, drank a lot of alcohol and got myself in many dangerous situations. And there was one situation which was quite traumatic for me, where I nearly lost my life. And there was a moment when I realized this could possibly be the last day of my life because of a dangerous situation I got myself into, without going into too much details. So that was, I had divine guidance completely intervene and guide me the whole way back to safety. So in that moment, I had this absolutely beautiful blessing of a second chance at life. I had this divine intervention that I knew had guided me, but then I started suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and just incredibly scary panic attacks every single day, 20 times a day. So it was a really scary process for me. But I went to a panic attack group, and I realized that a lot of people there had been suffering from panic attacks and panic disorders for most of their life. And I didn't want it to be something that I had to manage and something I had to live with. So I really went on my own journey of learning about the power of our subconscious mind, the power of meditation and relaxation, and then reconnecting with that, that inner guidance system that always tells us we're okay and that tells us what to do. That was what really led me the way out. And I began to trust in my body again, trust in life again. And going through this journey, I was reading a lot of my diaries. And I had a diary from when I was 13 years old. And I realized how negative I was about myself, how much I pulled myself down. I couldn't say a single good word about myself, compared myself to everybody. And I was terrified. I was scared of the world around me. So the panic disorder and, that experience that I had was really a microscope how, like you say, transformation, how my internal world, how my external world was a reflection of what was going on within me. And that was a huge wake-up call for me as well. And that's where I really started to do the work and realized that I needed a huge dose of self-love, and as well as connecting to the world around me, just really connecting to that sense of love within myself as well.
Geez, it's quite a journey. Like, you were 13 when you were reading through that. And how old were you when you were in the panic group where you made that pivotal decision? I don't want to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, so that's a good point. Yeah, so the pivotal moment in my life, I was 22, so that's when I had my near-death experience. And then I read back on the diaries from when I was a child, just being so negative about myself and the world. But yeah, I was 22 years old. So I'm 28 now. So it was about 7 years ago or so.
Wow. It's amazing. And you're beautiful. If you can see her, she's beautiful, beautiful woman, inside out. So, sorry, I like to give compliments when they're true as well. So where do you feel that most of our hindrances come from that stall our journeys? Like family, friends, all of the above?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, obviously it's the whole like nature nurture question. And obviously we do pick up a lot of beliefs from our parents, from the world around us, from how people treat us. You know, I got bullied in school and things for, you know, not being attractive, and I was quite overweight and things like that. So I've been on many different journeys. I chose to believe what people said about me. But also as well, I do also believe that we have a soul contract before we come into this world, and we all each have an individual mission. And our mission is to figure out what our story is, and when we overcome these battles and share it with the world to help each other evolve and grow. So I feel that we each have a soul contract before we're here, and it's our own learning process that we're here to share.
And what hinders us from that, from seeing that? Do you feel like, I mean, I know through the way we conditioned, the way we educated.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in, I recently went to this creative practitioner workshop, and it was this beautiful workshop which helped people who didn't see themselves as creative, were quite scared to be creative. And facilitation created such a safe space for us to express ourselves and be ourselves, that there was a part of me that realized that school didn't provide that really safe space for me to explore my ideas, to get a question wrong, or, you know, within the group as well, you know, within the group that was there, so like the school class, amongst peers, creating that safe space to completely accept each other. One of their techniques was to get rid of your cool card. You don't need to be cool. But that was a massive awakening for me as well, of realizing it's so important to have safe spaces in communities, in schools, like you say, at home, and to be able to be yourself and explore and express yourself creatively.
That's amazing. I think that's so important. I try to encourage my kids as well. I mean, I love working with kids, in particular teenagers, because that's exactly the phase where you don't have any self-love or any approval of yourself. And the educational system is, I always say, I can't wait. I'd love to live over 100, because I really want to see how the education system changes. How they're going to teach like kinesthetics and that are more visual and not just all auditory logic or just logical stuff and fitting into the system. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I'm a firm believer that laughter is the best medicine for one's body, mind, and soul. Can you remember on your transformational journey when you started to laugh again, and how it started to heal you, and especially what effect it had on those around you? Like, how did smiling change you?
Oh, that's such an amazing question. Oh my goodness. And there's a story that comes to me straight away. And it was when I was in the middle of having a panic attack. It was about 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was on my own. I had no one to turn to because I was terrified of what was happening. So I remember going downstairs and putting on some comedy, and it was just the perfect thing to get myself out of my head, into my heart, into connecting, and that laughter and that, just watching that random comedy show, I can't even remember who it was now, just really took myself out of my mind and calmed me down. And that became a tool for me every time a panic would come about, to distract myself through looking at the joys of life or looking at something funny and just cheering myself up in that way and taking myself out of the fear. And the other thing on smiling as well is there's a meditation. You've probably done it yourself, the inner smile.
No, I haven't.
So you just imagine like all of your organs smiling. Sounds strange, but you can just imagine it in whatever way feels like right for you. And, you know, imagine your feet smiling, imagine your stomach smiling, your liver smiling, your throat smiling, and just bring that all the way up so your whole inner body is shining. And that was a real healing process for me as well, for healing my internal and my external.
That's amazing. I love that. I love laughing. And I know I stopped laughing for a very long time. Things just got so serious and I got so serious. I don't know if it was my Aristotle side that came out. I was just philosophizing too much. And then somewhere along the line, and it wasn't just because of my kids, because my kids stressed me out as well. When they were younger, but I remember then when I did start laughing again, I just, whoa, it's like everything just falls off your shoulder. And you're like, oh my God, actually life isn't that bad.
Yeah, it's so true. And it's so amazing that you've brought this up, because I do remember laughing a lot as a child, like, so much with close friends and things. And sometimes there is a part of your life, especially when you are going through a deep transformation as well, there can be a part of you that does get quite serious about it and on this soul mission to change yourself and all this, and you're reading lots of books. And I did it myself. I got quite serious in the process. And then when you pick up laughter and come back into contact with laughter and smiling again, you realize that that's also really important and also really good for our soul. It just feels amazing, doesn't it?
It does. There's a saying, but it doesn't come to mind at the moment. But yeah, it's actually put a lot of ideas into my mind again, because I've registered for a masterclass with Steve Martin on comedy that they have running. And I was like, I've got to go check up on that again, because it wasn't that expensive and it was awesome. I mean, Steve Martin is hilarious. And I just thought, because I know for myself, sometimes when I'm working and I'm talking or doing a Facebook Live or something, and then I'm like, get so serious. And I think, bring in the fun, because I'm all about fun. And I was like, I've got to go check out those videos again with Steve Martin, because that would be pretty, just lighten the situation a little bit, because we get too serious.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so true. And I've thought that about myself as well, like watching back on some of the videos I've done. I'm like, oh gosh, I need to crack a smile there or something.
Get yourself a little bit. Get a smile.
But yeah, that's great. Yeah, definitely go for it. That's fabulous.
Oh man, you were talking about being a teenager. So I remember when I was a teenager, I was really struggling with emotions of love and approval, as we all do. Although I was deeply, deeply, deeply loved by friends and family, but I struggled with love and approval. Now, were you given the chance to speak to youngsters about self-love and self-approval? What words of wisdom would you give them?
Oh, that's a good question. And yeah, just to reflect on what you said, like, it's interesting because, I had such deep love and approval from my mom, but still there's something there that blocks you from that. And I always like to refer back to Marianne Williamson's quote of that sometimes we're afraid of our own light and sometimes we're afraid of our own greatness. And I find that sort of puts everything back into perspective for me sometimes. And that would be something that I would share with young people. Yeah, and I was a youth mentor for a while as well. So I noticed that was something that would help people kind of step out of themselves and realize that it's okay to be great. I think sometimes there's this worry of, showing off or being big-headed and things like that, because there's two different types of ego. There's the ego of being better than everybody else, but there's the ego of not being as good as anybody, not being good at all. And, finding balance, that you are great, everyone else is great, and we can support each other in that.
That's so true. Yeah. And it's so important for the kids as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in that phase. Actually, a little light bulb moment went off for myself, because my eldest is going into the teenage years, puberty. And I see how he's seeking self-love and self-approval. And I never thought about this before. I suppose you only think about it once you have kids. I don't know, like I don't know with my kids, but you can only really change the world when you change yourself or whatever your surroundings. And it really, it does. It starts with that transformation of loving yourself.
Yes,
because you've been so loved by everyone else. Who am I?
Absolutely. And I think it's really important that young people know that they do have the power within them. If they know that their internal self and their external self is a reflection of their internal self, if they know that, then that can empower them in some way. They can begin to be creative with how they show up in the world, with what they want to bring forward. Like with parents like you who allow them to express themselves like that, that completely helps and supports in the process, and the people in the community who can guide and support so they don't feel alone. I think that's huge. I think young people just really want to be seen, and I do think that helps, even though it is up to us to discover self-love, because that's what I was always seeking for, was outside love, when really it was my own self-love that's what I was craving. It definitely helped me with people I met along the way and along the journey who would tell me good things about myself and lift me up as well.
And even that self-love, going back to education and being conditioned and how we love ourselves. When you work with your clients as well, there's that inner child that's lost as well, that's been suppressed. So it doesn't really matter about the age. It's just that soul contract that you need to discover and work on. What's your superpower when it comes to seeing this in your clients and then working with them on an energy level and recognizing it? Because, you'd see it immediately and you'd be like, oh, ding, 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 we need to go there. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, absolutely. And the inner child work is definitely really important. And through my diaries, that young girl that I recognized in me, I also realized probably a lot of young girls within, women, older women, younger women, whoever. So you're right. And I often talk about, self-limiting beliefs. So there'll be a moment with my clients where we'll just do some journaling. I think journaling is really important to kind of get that stuff out onto the page, to really look at what's going on within you. And then once we really know what the negative self-talk is and what the self-limiting talk is, we can kind of reflect back on where those beliefs may have stemmed from, where they may have picked up from. Because often our belief systems are formulated as children, as we were saying before, and they were there to keep us safe, but we don't necessarily need them anymore. So it's just kind of coming back to that. And I'm a huge believer in feeling it to heal it. Obviously, it depends on where my clients are and whether they feel ready and safe to do that. But feeling certain emotions and certain things that they may have, tried to swallow up or keep down, whether it's sadness, whether it's anger as well, all these feelings deserve to be expressed. I also like to use meditation, guided meditation, and Reiki energy healing as well, just to support the process in a gentle way. Once we allow our feelings to rise, they can begin to either evaporate or change form. But there's like a softer energy that you can work with there, and then begin to change the picture, begin to put a positive thought on it. Really, I think our minds are very good at remembering the negative, but not very good at remembering the positive. So really just going on a journey of remembering the beautiful things, the great things about you, all the things you can do and have done, and really list that out and make that a primary focus to begin to make that your new belief system, really creating a new positive habit for yourself that's going to support you. So
I love that. And it's so needed. It's so needed. I'd like you to tell us about your power to treat your pre-disorder as a bad habit, because breaking a habit, it takes 21 days, some say 3 months. How did you just adopt the mentality of this is only a bad habit and can be banished in the blink of an eye after carrying it with you for such a long time?
I think it was complete devotion and dedication, and it was that my panic attacks were so scary that it was really a matter of life or death, it felt like. And I know that sounds really dramatic, but I think you really have to find that hunger. You have to really want to change. You have to find that hunger daily of why you want to change. You have to know why it's not serving you anymore. You have to have complete faith that it's possible. And that's why it really does help to have people around you to support you as well and keep you on that, on that path. But it was just, for me, it was that matter of life or death, and I had to have complete devotion and didn't count the days of how long it would take before the habit broke. I just had faith. As soon as I got into my meditation every day and was connecting with that inner voice within me that was guiding me, the more we cultivate that connection, we know we're guided, we know we're okay, we know what to do and what we need to work on and what we need to change. And that's what really kept me going.
That's amazing. So you placed the one habit with the other one. Just I don't want order, I want devotion.
Yeah, it's just choosing, knowing that you have the power to choose daily. And I think, the three things that really supported me and that I work with on my clients is the power of visualization. Power of visualization. We have this creative source within us that we don't tap into, and sometimes tap into for the wrong reasons. I remember I used to sit there and I would draw myself how ugly I look. I'd draw myself with this huge head, and I'd over accentuate all the things that I didn't like about myself. And I remember that, gosh, I was using my creative energy in all the wrong ways. And I feel that we have such an amazing ability to fret about the future and all the things that could go wrong. And I always think that's an example of your creative potential. If you can use that for all the beautiful, amazing, positive things that can go right, and if you can draw yourself in the most this beautiful, amazing image, you're really using your creativity for something really inspiring there. And the second thing that I feel really supports with transformation and self-love, again, is meditation and relaxation, coming back to your breath. You know, that there's one tool that we have that can always center us, always, you know, relax us, always. Just the power of our breath is an example of how we're constantly in harmony with the world around us. We're in a constant state of giving and receiving. We're always supported. So breath and relaxation is the second thing. And then the third thing is consciousness. So being conscious of what you choose to do, being conscious of your thought, conscious of how you show up in the world, what you eat, what you put in your body. So I'd say they were the three superpowers.
That's amazing. I love that. And you speak about it with such conviction. It's really empowering. It's wonderful.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
So we're coming near the end. It just goes so quick. All these wonderful. So tell me something that's true that almost nobody agrees with on you.
Oh, this is a really clever question. I hope I get to answer this. Something that's true that no one ever agrees with me. Ooh. Don't know. That's such a good question. I think I'm finding it difficult to answer because I think we all secretly know what the truth is.
That's fine. We'll come back to, or we can cut that one out.
Yeah. It's a good question, though. I'm going to be thinking about that all day. I'll be like, Sashka, I know the
answer. Like that one, like the challenge. So the hardest part I've personally found and seen is acknowledging that you have a past and you have wounds and they need healing. It's a sign of, I think, surrender, defeat, where you're feeling broken and having given up and feeling small. Why do you feel, or what do you think about why healing yourself is seen so much as a disrespect to yourself and having no value?
Okay. So do you mean like the negative connotations that come with healing?
Yeah.
Well, yes. So this could probably reflect to what you asked me before, actually. But I really feel that the darkness is something to embrace. I really feel that fear is our friend. And, you know, healing really means to make whole, to be whole, and to be your whole self, to be all of you, that, you know, do the things that light you up, to serve in the way that you're able to serve in the world, to live in joy and harmony, to embrace, you know, the feminine and the masculine, to embrace the light and the dark. So it's really to make whole. That's the real meaning of healing. So again, I feel, you know, not to be afraid of the dark and not to be afraid of our shadow selves and not to be afraid of our ego, because it's actually all there to serve us and support us. I mean, we've all had experiences of where we've had a major breakdown, but what's come through that has been a major breakthrough. And I always realize if I'm coming into some sort of breakdown, there's a breakthrough that's about to happen. You know, when something negative happens to me, I realize there's a lesson in that I need to learn that can help me grow. So I actually really embrace those the darkness. And I have a saying which says my shadow self keeps me in shape. And especially for women, well, men do too, but I know because I'm a woman that women kind of have their own cycles. A cycle of they'll be in superwoman mode, then they'll feel like there's a bit of a slip in the rug under the feet, and you have a bit of a wobble, and then you realize all these negative feelings start coming up and you start worrying. It's a really valuable critical stage for a woman to realize it's time to go inward. I love that this is I think you introduced this show as you're coming into the cave, the creative cave, and I love that because we do have moments where we come into our cave, we go into reflection, we do the inner work, and if we allow ourselves to do the inner work in the dark cave and really shine light upon all the things that are coming up for us, when we come out of that cave mode and back into our what's it called, you know, we have introversion, extroversion, so come back into our extroverted self, we can show up in the world with much more presence because we've honored internal journey, our introverted journey as well. So I feel it's a journey that we're all on, and we're all going through a process of healing. You know, it's constant, it happens in layers. And
I love that. And many of us in the beginning don't see that the light on that shadow side. It just, it's very shameful, or admitting, like in your case, I have panic attacks, or I have this disorder. It's recognizing it, acknowledging it, and then going, you know what, I'm going to make a choice. I don't want to live with this. Where some people just choose to live with it because that's their comfort zone as well. That's their self-love for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel, meditation is a huge part, because sometimes it can feel quite uneasy to sit in meditation, and it can bring up, anxieties and uncomfortable feelings. We get quite fidgety quite naturally. But I really know and believe, like, if you stay with it and sit with it, your inner voice will come forward. Something will come forward to support you. And just, for everybody listening to this, I would really advise to start really connecting with that inner voice, that inner guidance system, because that can help you through those processes of when you do see and accept your shadow self, or all those things about yourself, to begin to shine, love, forgiveness, acceptance. And you can really do that when you've created that strong connection with your truthful, loving inner voice within all of us.
I love that. All right, Laura, coming to the end. And I ask all my guests 2 questions near the end of the interview.
Yeah.
I have my 3 core values, and I'd love to hear your take on it by you filling in the blank.
Okay, amazing.
So creativity for you is?
Soul expression. That's the 2 words that came up instantly, but just soul expression. I just feel we are all here to just express and create beauty in the world. We're just in the image of the divine, and just creativity really helps us recognize the divine within us.
Love that. Passion for you is?
Passion for me is fiery energy that it really drives, really speaks to the hearts of people, and really lights up your heart, really lights up your soul.
Wisdom for you is?
Oh, grandfather. That sounds really strange, doesn't it? I never met my grandparents, but I very much know that I feel them with me. And I know that a lot of my wisdom comes from my grandfather when I come into meditation and things like that. So wisdom as well. Wisdom for me is within us. It's all within us. I actually have a freebie on my website at the moment called The Wisdom is Within You. And I guide you on a journey, a meditation that I made up when I was younger, that helped me tap into the wisdom within me. So yeah, wisdom is within you.
Wow, I love that. How do you want to change the world or challenge the world doing what you do?
I think I really just want people to realize how beautiful they are, how powerful they are, and what we can really create here, what we can really do here to evolve and to raise the energy and raise the vibration of the world, save all what's going on in the earth and the world around us. And, really just create freedom and love and harmony between each and every one of us, and knowing that we no longer have to work in the old paradigm of being competitive, and we can now begin to work together and work in collaboration, and actually be much more effective in what we can be and do while we're here.
I love that. Laura, it's been so enlightening meeting you, and transformational. It's gone from the inside out. It's been wonderful meeting you. And whilst I've been looking at you, interviewing you, I have to take a screenshot or something, because your face is a heart. It's beautiful. You got a heart all on your face. Oh, that's so squishy that I said. Anyway.
I like the sheet.
Thank you so much for being with us here today. And I look forward to seeing your growth and acknowledging you and what you do for women and transforming them and on their journey, and also what's going to be happening in the future. Lots of success. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you. It's been beautiful to be a part of this and to meet you. And I love the work that you do. So thank you for having me here.
It's a pleasure. Bye-bye. Dang, that was just supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I enjoyed having you on board, and please do me and you a favor. Head on over to iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Click subscribe, and a super bonus, leave your review and you stand a chance of being announced and advertised on the show. I'm always striving to ensure that your brand is uplifted and empowered. Remember, done is better than perfect. So be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and send in your feedback too. You're the absolute best. Keep rocking.